Welcome to Casey Cares. We're Kansas City's nonprofit voice, telling the stories of Kansas City nonprofits and the people behind them. Casey Cares is the intersection of the nonprofit and profit communities, making Kansas City a better place to live, work, and play. Casey Cares is proudly sponsored by the Ewing Marion Kauffman Foundation. I'm Ruth Bombigas. Nearly 1 in 4 people in this country will be diagnosed with a mental illness, and depression is at an all-time high. In the veterans community, those numbers soar. The suicide rates among adults, nearly 14% were veterans. 11% have elevated rates of depression, and 20% of vets who have served in Iraq or Afghanistan suffer with major depression or PTSD. Well, for John Schwendt, who spent 30 years on active duty in the United States Marine Corps, losing friends to suicide and watching others battle major health issues has been tough. So he decided to fight back on behalf of his brothers and sisters. John stepped forward and created the nonprofit organization Camp Valor Outdoors, hoping to help heal his brethren in a unique way. And we're so lucky to have John with us today. I want to say Major John Schwendt, who is founder and executive director. First of all, thank you for your service. We are so fortunate that you have stepped up, and we honor you for that, for sure. But you haven't quit serving.
No.
Not at all. John, tell us a little bit about this organization and the backstory to it, why you did this.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me, Miss Ruth. I appreciate the opportunity to share what we're doing. You know, in the mainstream media, the average person does not know that we, in my view, we have a national pandemic. You know, we have 20 veterans today that are committing suicide. And you know, as a brother in arms, losing too many buddies to suicide, it pulls at your heartstrings and you just feel compelled to want to make a difference. So in 2013, we launched Camp Valor Outdoors with the whole goal of reconnecting wounded, ill, and injured veterans in the outdoors. You know, for my 23 years, I got my solace by going in the outdoors, get with my buddies, my family, and experience what, you know, God's great creation, and hunting and fishing and shooting and archery, four-wheeling, just getting in the outdoors. So there's a lot of healing components with that. You know, it's just not just veterans going fishing for an afternoon. It's the camaraderie. It's the brotherhood. And when we're on active duty, we've got our brothers and sisters in our unit. You know, we sleep together, we eat together, we train together. That's your family. And when you deploy together, that bond and that family is extremely important. But when you come back home, and if you've been injured or, you know, become ill, it's a huge problem. Our government doesn't know, you know, how to help all of our warriors with PTSD and traumatic brain injuries from the explosions. So we're trying to create an environment to where we can surround our fellow brothers and sisters with the brotherhood, the family, so we can create that bond and camaraderie. Many of us don't want to burden our families with those issues that we have. And it's a huge struggle. Almost 20 years of war in Iraq and Afghanistan, over 75% of our military families have gotten divorced. So our families are struggling. And it's not just the Iraq, Afghanistan veterans. You know, just to kind of put it in perspective, there was 3.5 million of our, you know, country's greatest asset, you know, our children, our men and young women who joined the military. Compare that to Vietnam. Vietnam had over 9 million. And so still today, a large number of, you know, the suicide rate is our Vietnam veterans. They're still struggling. And that demographic's 3 times more larger who deployed and experienced those things. So in my family, I've had several uncles that were in Vietnam. I was raised and I knew that they had issues, but I didn't understand what or how. So when we founded this nonprofit, we decided to open it wide up to every generation. We've had 94-year-old World War II veterans come out here. Just want to be reconnected. This one gentleman from Lee Summit wanted to go fishing. he had never been fishing since he was a young child. And he always wanted to provide for his family. So he never got the opportunity to go on a deer hunt or a turkey hunt. And through fundraising and support that we do, Ground Roots efforts, we brought this 94-year-old veteran in, put him in a track chair. I mean, it's a wheelchair on steroids, has tracks. We can get him out there, and he feels part of the group again because, he's not limited by, his limbs or his inability to get around. I mean, obviously, a lot of those older gentlemen in Vietnam, World War II, Korea, got mobility issues. We don't let anything deter us when trying to get a veteran in the outdoors. And so we're now operating in 22 states. We do this with 100% volunteers. Our board doesn't get paid. None of our staff, our guides, our mentors. It's a true nonprofit that's trying to make a difference in the lives of our warriors and their families. And we do it through Camp Valor Outdoors.
Well, that's tremendous. Let's unpack this a little bit, though.
Okay, sure.
2013, where were you in life? And how did that then allow you to take on creating a nonprofit, which is no easy task?
That's a great question. So I retired from active duty in 2008. My retirement ceremony was on a Friday, and Monday, I started work. I moved to the St. Louis area. A lot of my family are from southern St. Louis area, Jefferson County, and I went to work. I just kind of start the next chapter, and I worked a couple jobs over there. My last job that I had was the CEO of Iron County Hospital, Pilot Knob, Missouri, saving a hospital. So I was trying to figure out hospital world because I'm not a hospital guy. I'm just a guy driven to want to make a difference. And we turned a hospital around after 2 to 3 years. And so I put my whole 50 acres and log home up for sale in 2008. And in 2010, the Marine Corps reached back out to me. The Department of Defense was experiencing high suicide rates. And so they signed a 4-year contract with the United States Olympic Committee using Paralympic adaptive outdoor sports to heal. Even back to our World War II days, it was common to have wheelchair basketball for our warriors that had missing limbs. But today's world is, let's blow it up on wheelchair sitting volleyball, swimming and all the strokes, track and field, guys with limbs doing all the shot put, discus, all of it, cycling, guys with no legs are, cycling with their hands. And I happen to be the shooting coach. So I got to experience exposing our warriors to something new, a sport activity. And I had found over several years that these warriors are finding a new passion through sports, outdoor activity. So many of them were getting off the prescription meds, the alcohol, getting picked up on the United States Paralympic team, and then representing our nation in a different facet in competition. So just seeing through outdoor recreational adaptive activities, it's given these guys a new passion in life. And so many of them started asking me, this is the Paralympic shooting is an air rifle, air pistol, precision, $3,600 pellet rifle, if you will. But that's the NCAA international sporting event. Those guys they're getting more comfortable and they're opening up and they want to do more things and try more things. So I was just kind of at a point in my life that, I have a military retirement. I don't need to work. I was only working because I really didn't know. I'm looking for my post life. I don't know what it is. And I just felt called that this is what I need to be doing. So I left the hospital, came back to Johnson County here, took my property off the market, and immediately started building a facility for our warriors to come to. And so now we are offering a lot of these activities all across the country. And it's grown. We've found other opportunities to help veterans. We rolled out a honeybee program, and it's very therapeutic for veterans with PTSD. One of our warriors asked me to look into it, and I had not heard anything about this, but it's a thing. If you go look at that, K-State's got a big program. So we've been doing that now for 4 years. We have warriors with honeybees in 4 different states. And we just keep finding a way to make a difference. Where are our veterans struggling? What can we do to make a difference and get our community, our businesses, our veteran organizations, it's the family coming around, and it's us, it's our people taking care of our veterans and trying to stop this 20 veterans a day committing suicide. We're extremely happy to also announce that we embarked on some tiny homes for homeless veterans in the last couple of years. And so last week, we actually opened our first 3 tiny homes for homeless veterans to bring them in off the street, show them the love and the care and the compassion from our community. And we partnered with HCC to help do the case management. We want to fully rehabilitate these veterans so they can have a joyful and meaningful life. So we're doing that in Holden, Missouri. We're going to build a total of 10 homes right here, rehabilitate them and transition them into, their, future job, their future home. There's so much going on, and we keep looking for more opportunities to find veterans and their families in need and in help and see how we can make a difference as a community and an organization.
John, how do you find your veterans? How do people come to you?
We have a website at campvaloroutdoors.org. It's pretty generic. We don't spend dollars on that, but we're big on social media. Our Facebook account, Camp Valor Outdoors, our Instagram account, everything is went social media now. So we post all of our events there. We promote our donation opportunities, volunteer opportunities, but the word of mouth throughout the veterans organizations, our communities. And then I receive personally every private message on Camp Valor Outdoors. And so people start digging in and seeing what all we're doing and opportunities for their family and their warriors to get out and try something that they've never tried before. So I would bet it's probably 50 to 75% the messages that I receive are either from friends or family members of these warriors. Our veteran community is a pretty proud people. And, there's some hesitancy to ask for help, but our families will reach out and tell me about a warrior that they're having issues, they're struggling. Could you please reach out to them? And so as a fellow warrior, I reach out to them. I start engaging and opening up the conversation, start building some dialogue and some communication. So they know that I'm one of them and we have a program to help you. And we would love for you to be a part of us. And so that's probably how most of the word gets out with us to find these veterans in need all across the country.
And so once you get that call, you make that connection with a veteran. Is it kind of a standard set of programs that you introduce them to? How do you figure out who's a hunter, who's a fisher, who just wants to be in the outdoors? It's, from there.
So the conversations will kind of evolve when you start sharing all the opportunities that we have. And we just ask them pointedly, does any of this interest you? Or would you just like to come out to our camp facility so, we can meet one another? You can see what our barracks facility is like. But when I share with them that in all of our events or programs that we have a warrior that's there that's a mentor for him or her. So they're going to walk side by side with another warrior. And so you're never going to be left alone. We're never going to take you out fishing and there it is, good luck. No, it's all about the camaraderie. And quite honestly, Miss Ruth, at the end of the day, we fill the day with some activity. It's different from your normal routine. You start to engage differently. But the real healing happens most of the times out at our campfire. We've done the day activities. We've reconnected with some other veterans. Now we're just sitting around a campfire. And I tell you, we had a World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Somalia, Iraq, and Afghanistan veteran all around our campfire. And there's no differences from that 25-year-old Iraq veteran or that 94 World War II veteran. It's just a different generation, but the experiences are the same. And so for the Iraq, Afghanistan generation, my generation, we are so appreciative of yesterday's generation. They did it. They're still here. We know that our Vietnam veterans didn't get their due, but they're still here. They have value. And my generation wants to hear, how did you overcome those challenges? What did you do to experience joy again? Did you lose your family? Did you get another one? Did you heal your family? Share. So we're just soaking all this stuff in from our older generations. And sometimes it's a challenge to get our older generation out, because oftentimes they're, let these younger guys do it. I've done my deal. Let these other guys participate. And I share with them, brother, you have no idea the value added that you are just by being there and listening and sharing some of your stories, because you're still here to share it. And our guys are still struggling today. And oftentimes, there's moments in their life that they feel like there's not going to be tomorrow. They can't get a job. They can't have a family, and they won't be able to experience joy. So they have no reason to ever leave their home or wherever their domain is at, because there's a sense of nothing in their life. So we're trying to create an environment to encourage them to come out, and for all generations to come out and just be a part. And their families, when those opportunities present themselves, so the spouses can talk. These kids that are also experiencing their spouse or their mom or dad with PTSD or some TBI issues, so they know that they're not alone as well. So it's just a big family coming around and say, we care about you.
After the experience, does your organization do any kind of follow-up?
That's a great question. So, yeah, when you leave an event of Camp Valor Outdoors, now you've got all these phone numbers. You got buddies that you've been, on an event together for 3 or 4 days. We've broke bread together. We went out and fished together, or, honeybees, whatever we did together during the day. And then social media is, another good aspect that I like about it is we've created a private group that's just our warriors. And so now our warriors are welcome into this private domain that they know these are all Camp Valor Outdoor veterans that have been to our events. They've also connected with some of our mentors and guides. And so it's an open, free environment to share issues, share opportunities, share experiences. So they just know they're just a couple clicks away from some people that care about them.
We're talking with Major John Schwendt, who is the founder and executive director of Camp Valor Outdoors. John, the mentor, you seem to indicate that that's a really important component of what you're doing. So how do you choose your mentors, and do they receive any particular kind of training to work with the folks that come out to camp?
Yeah, most of our mentors are a warrior themselves. Oftentimes they have come into our program to get some help and some experiences, shared experiences, and we introduced them to something that's new in their life, and they love it. So now they're going on their own and doing this stuff, and then they come back, and now they want to give back. They want to mentor another warrior to come to do that. So, for that part, it's pretty simple. You just got to want to make a difference and have a skill set. So, say Miss Ruth, say you're a veteran, you wanted to come out and you've never fished for crappie. Well, crappie fishing is different from catfishing, different from bass fishing, different gear, different techniques, different things to learn. So I find a crappie guy that comes alongside of them and teaches them all the differences for this type of fishing or for that type of hunting or the honeybees, whatever that it is. So, in our mind, that's a guy who's doing it regularly, living it, loving it, and wanting to share those experiences with the veteran who's interested. He would like to learn it. He would like to know how to go out and harvest a turkey and deer hunt, and maybe take his child out on a turkey hunt for like the youth season kind of thing. So it's well, then we stay connected. So since all of us, I say all of us, 95% are veterans who's in our program, our mentors, our guides, we get help through the VA. We also get help from non-VA opportunities. So we're sharing the good pieces of the VA that we want the people can take advantage of. And then there's still some areas of the VA that they're still struggling. So we can try to steer and navigate this warrior to good, proven, recommended doctors and healthcare providers that's doing a good job with our veterans. So it becomes an asset from that regard. We've partnered with veteran service officers that help veterans with their claims to actually get the help that they need from the VA. That's a process in and of itself.
Oh, yeah.
I had an Iraq, Afghanistan Navy veteran. He was a corpsman, got blown up, lost both of his legs. And when he finally got well enough to go home, the model is we medical discharge you, med board, and you can get your care on the VA. Well, when you file your claim to the VA, I got blown up. I got two legs that are all fused together. One's now been amputated. And then the VA gets the claim and kind of rubber stamp denied, not service connected. That's a problem. That veteran, and I get it. They're understaffed. There's thousands of claims and they're just trying to push most of them through, but our veterans deserve their best and their attention. So in this case, he spent 2 years trying to appeal that decision to get help through the VA. I'd like to say it's gotten better over the last couple of years. 2012, 13, 14, those were rough years for our veterans who are just trying to get help.
So you all are there not only to walk through and have an outdoor experience, but say, hey, we have your back now. Let us know what else we can help with. Tell us about your facilities and how did you get the money to do that?
Well, I'm a retired Marine, and Marines are we see a problem, we just go all in and try to make a difference. So when I left the hospital, I was just committed to doing this. I felt that was what God called me to do. So I was fortunate enough to have some resources. That job paid pretty well, and I built the facility myself. And then in 2013, I paid for the Warriors to come in, and I was just me getting some friends of mine together to do this. And I learned a lot. I spent about $80,000 on this facility. It's upstairs, downstairs. We built every bit of it. There's 7 queen size pillow top orthopedic beds, flat screens, ADA compliant. Well, we helped about 70 veterans in that first year, but I pretty much spent all of my savings. So with the encouragement of some others, you need to turn this into a nonprofit and open it up and allow for some other donors to come in, or I'm going to be pretty limited to what I can do moving forward. So in 2014, we did that. We expanded to 8 states and reached over 200 veterans in that first year that we did that. So the veterans organizations, the American Legion, the VFW, those organizations have breakfasts on Saturday mornings. They're oftentimes doing Tuesday night tacos or Thursday night meals. Those are major fundraisers for our veterans organizations, and I get most of our support from those organizations because we partner with them. So when we bring these warriors in for an event, we fully pay for their airfare, transportation, any gear that they need, their licenses, whatever they need, we pay for that and provide it. And then we give a lot of that stuff to them when they leave with the hope and encouragement that, okay, now you know how to do some of this, let's go do it. And you got gear to do it with. So it just continues to grow and grow. We continue to get more volunteers, more supporters. The hope is with this broadcast, we're going to reach some more caring people that really would like to partner with some veterans. Sean Barber, great guy, huge fan of his, got to meet him. We partnered with Bass Pro and Independence for an annual fishing event. We got some warriors on the water. Bass Pro is, all about the outdoors. So it's kind of a great symbiotic relationship there.
Right.
Got our warriors on the water, had a wonderful time, burned some burgers and broke bread together. And so we just keep we share that information. Somebody sees it, they share it. Somebody sees it and says, wow, that looks really fun. I think I'm going to reach out and see if I can be a part. And so they do. So we now plug them in. We confirm their veteran status and that they're wounded, ill, or injured. And then we get them in, and then we start it again with another group of mentors and guides. And now they are our spokespeople. They're going out and sharing with others. And that's our main request when we bring these veterans in. Don't go home and keep this experience to yourself. I encourage you to find another veteran that could benefit, mentor them, invite them to come with you to this event, to the next event, so we can continue to grow and reach more veterans. So that's a call to action, for us. So get out there, share what we're doing, go to our website, go to our Facebook page, share these opportunities. And if those veterans are hesitant, leave that to the guys that really need it, which is common. Send me a private note, and I would be more than happy to reach out to them.
So what you're doing is free to the veteran, and you need funding to keep doing that, and then share the love. Are these other states you're in, are they chapters of your organization?
Not really. We have the one facility here. We find a veteran or a sponsor or somebody that wants to do something in another state, and in those states we're staying at hotels. Sometimes we partner with outfitters or lodge that covers our costs for a few days, and we bring our van, our trailers with all the gear, provide all the meals. So we don't have facilities a lot of places. We just have one here that we built on site, and then so that to go out of state and get into other states, price of poker goes up because we need more dollars for lodging. We can't cook there. But it's what we do. We fundraise in those areas. And the thought is, like in Nebraska or Iowa, we don't have a facility there, but I know somebody that's there, or a veteran goes back to there and says, hey, there's some other veterans here. Can we do something in this area? So we start, exploring what can we do there? How can we market to that region? How can we get some promoters and sponsors and mentors there together to talk about, hey, there's many things we can do. Let's bring our resources together. Let's partner with the other organizations that want to help us reach more veterans in need. And so it's a pretty good model.
You're doing amazing work. In just the moments we have left, what's the greatest challenge and how can people help you meet it?
COVID has been harsh on a lot of folks. It's been hard on us as well. It's been harder for us to get out, to find veterans. Our whole model is to get in the outdoors, get out of the house. And then we run into COVID, and now everybody stay in the house. It's been a huge problem for our veteran community. Substance abuse, alcohol, all those things that a lot of our veterans are challenged with has gotten worse over this time. 2021, things started to open up more, which is great, so we can get them. So we're social distancing. We limit our groups that have come out. We do all those things, but we're committed now that we're going to figure out a way to get in the outdoors. We've got to get out of the house and reconnected. So dollars is a premium. Our Veterans Village, we were only able to build 3 homes right now to get home sponsors. We built these homes for about $15,000 a piece. It'd be over $25,000 now if we had to build them, just because the price of lumber and the whole construction deal.
Right.
So we're hopeful that we can reach some other companies that can help us build these tiny homes. We want to build 7 more. The need is here. We found out in 2019, 30 veterans in Johnson County, Missouri, were relocated to other counties to try to get some help because there's just not enough infrastructure, not enough apartments, places to put them. So we decided to do something here on the ground.
Well, that's pretty amazing. I congratulate you on doing that. We want to encourage our audience to go to your website, which is campvalooroutdoors.org. Check out the organization. You can give your time, talent, and particularly treasure. John, we salute what you're doing in your second career or third career here, from active military to running a hospital to now helping your fellow veterans. And let's knock down on that that suicide rate and help people who have served so courageously for us. Thank you so much for spending time with us.
Thank you. Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us for KC Cares, Kansas City's nonprofit voice. We're produced by Charitable Communications, and we're proudly sponsored by the Ewing Marion Kaufman Foundation. If you'd like to be a guest on KC Cares or underwriting opportunities to support our work, visit our website at kccaresonline.org and spread the love. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter at KC Cares Radio and Instagram at KC Cares Online. Don't forget, you can catch us on Saturday mornings on ESPN 1510 AM and 94.5 FM at 8 a.m. Thank you for joining us on KC Cares.